And welcome back to episode 5 of Rather Be Drafting MTGRBD. I'm your host and limited junkie MP Numbers, and for those of you new here and don't really know me, I'm a long-term Magic player. I've been playing Magic for 15 years, mostly drafting, playing fun casual events, never overly competitive. Also a small-time content creator with YouTube and Twitch, as well as a whole bunch of other socials. I'm joined by two of my best buddies in no particular order. We've got Food Time.
Hello, everybody. I'm Food Time. I'm a long time Commander player. Surprisingly, I think I've played longer than you numbers. I think I've played for almost 20 years, which is surprising. I'm only 27, so figure that out. I like to describe myself as kind of a casual hardcore, where like I really want to play, like I really want to like win, right? But I don't necessarily care about like, well, what's the best way to win? I just want to I want to have fun, you know. But I want to play a lot. So Commander's my jam. I love playing Commander. I love sitting around table with my friends and just, you know, having a big old slaughter fest of a game.
For sure. And we are also joined by my other bestest buddy, our resident newbie and maybe Pauper guy, Des.
Yes, I'm going to be the Pauper guy. Granted, I have been looking at it for a week, so don't expect much, but my name is, I actually am the editor of Des Does, desdoes.com, which is a tech board game website. So I do reviews and content like that. I have been playing Magic, I think, on and off for about 3.5, 4 years, but only very sporadically. I've played in most different ones, but I seem to just have found a new love for Pauper. So I'm probably going to be talking a lot about that over the recent weeks and crying a lot.
For sure. And I thought we'd just do a little bit bigger intro than normal, just for those of you joining us for the first time. But let's move on, as we always do. We're going to start having a look at the news. Look, there hasn't been much news. Obviously, everyone's on low energy, low stuff happening, not much being talked about. The big thing that came out was more of a teaser than anything. On Twitter, and only Twitter as far as I can see, Wizards announced they were releasing the Historic Anthology 3 onto Magic Arena. Des, do you have any idea what those words mean?
No, but I also love the fact that it has, as I like to call him, Umunga, the ceaseless hunger.
Ulamog, even?
Yeah. No, I named him after, what is it, Umunga, the wrestler. So I always got really excited because he's this big, fat islander dude. But yeah, if you get to know me, you'll know that I'll make names up for all these cards because I'm like, I can't read, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to make up a name that sounds good for me.
For sure. So the big thing is that they're basically going to be adding a whole bunch of cards from older sets to Magic Arena to enable the format of Historic, which is not quite Pioneer, but bigger than Standard. It's kind of like Standard Plus at the moment, which a lot of people are enjoying. Now, realistically, none of us have played or really play Historic, right, Food Time?
Not really.
Yeah. So what we've done, rather than trying to make up knowledge on this, we've actually got an interview coming with someone who plays it. Food Time sat down with streamer Capolo, I'm pretty sure that's how he pronounces it, to have a chat about it. How'd the interview go, Food Time?
It went fantastic. Learned a lot about Historic. I'm actually kind of excited to try to jump in and play a little bit of it now, after he kind of enlightened me on the format a little bit.
Awesome. We'll run that shortly. We can have a chat and find out some information for everybody. Moving on, we've got our card of the week, as we do every single episode. We picked out a card. We're going to have a bit of a chat about it. For me, I'm going a little bit different this week. Normally I talk about a card that I've had fun drafting, that I've had fun playing with it, but this week I'm talking about Flourishing Fox. Flourishing Fox is a card from the new set. It's a 1-mana 1/1 with cycling 1, and whenever you cycle another card, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. The reason I'm talking about this card is because it has been bothering me, for lack of a better word, because I don't want to get the explicit symbol on this podcast. It has been bothering me all weekend. It seems like we're maybe at the point where the competitive end of drafting, the cycling deck is becoming the best deck, and that card is a great card to have because you play on turn 1. Obviously, you just start cycling everything for 1, and it gets really big. You got to make sure you have your removal. If you don't have your removal, you just die. On top of that, the events on the weekend, which again we'll cover later, we had Artisan, or Artesian, I don't know how to say that, which is common and uncommon. The cycling deck was basically the best deck. Then we also had Ikoria block constructed, and again, the cycling deck was basically the best deck. I hate when any specific deck in any specific format is just the best deck, full stop. And this card seems to enable more than anything. Like, obviously there's other cards in the deck, but when they go turn 1 Flourishing Fox, you're just like, well, there's just no point playing this game because I'm not gonna win. So that's my little rant about Flourishing Fox. The card obviously is a good card, but I don't like it being played against me, I guess, is the takeaway there.
That was actually one thing I was confused about, because when you put this in the show notes, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't get it. It looks absolutely cool. Like, I would draft this. This looks sick. And now I realise why.
Yeah, reality is, it's... You go for time.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen a lot of it. Like, I've been drafting quite a bit. I haven't seen a lot of it there. I mean, I haven't done a lot of other formats. I've been playing a bit of Standard as well. But I just haven't seen it almost at all. And, like, if I see it in draft, I'm killing it as soon as I see it anyways. Because I mean, it's a turn 1 creature that just is going to grow. But I don't know. I guess we're just having very different experiences. Very, very interesting, though, that it's that strong.
For sure. And
I just don't see it very often.
No, I think the thing that pushed it over was the other two formats that just kind of coming back again, do two different formats still being the best deck. It just kind of what pushed me over to being like, all right, I'm going to talk about this one.
Personally, I think I'm usually a little more scared of Zenith Flare in a cycling deck.
Yeah, but I don't know. I can counter Zenith Flare easier because it's later in the game, you know. All right, let's move on, Futom. I've had my talking. It's your turn to do some talking.
All right, so I'm going to talk about a card from Ikoria that's just totally, totally rad. It'd be Narset of the Ancient Way. I feel like not a lot of people talked about Narset when it came out, unless like you're into Oathbreaker, because it adds like a new 3-color Oathbreaker commander. But her +1 is gain 2 life, add blue, red, or white. Spend this mana only to cast non-creature spells. She enters with 4 loyalty for 4 mana. It's blue, white, red, 1 colorless, right? -2, draw a card, which is already good. Like, I would already use that ability. And then you may discard a card, so you can choose not to do the discard. When you discard a non-land card this way, Narset deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to target creature or planeswalker. So you're like, I'm going to discard my terrible 5, 6, 7 mana spell that I'm not going to cast because I only have 4 or 5 mana. I'm going to kill their best creature or their planeswalker, and I get to draw a card to boot. It's amazing. And then sometimes you just put like a reanimation target or something you're not going to cast anyways, like in your yard. Super, super sweet. And her -6 is an emblem that I've actually gotten off a few times. Gives you an emblem with whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this emblem deals 2 damage to any target. I mean, it just attaches a shock to everything. It's amazing, right? You get it after 2 turns of just +1s, so it's pretty easy to pop off. The 2 life is pretty relevant. It actually helps stabilize against more of the aggressive decks because it goes up to 5 loyalty, and you gain 2 life. So they have to swing 5 at Narset, and you've gained 2, so it's essentially gaining 7 life for 4 mana, on top of, potentially helping you cast another spell. So, I don't know. Really, really just super strong card.
I haven't seen much of it, but... This is genuinely, like, when you put on the run sheet, this is the first time I've actually seen it.
Yeah, I've drafted it twice, so I've gotten extremely lucky.
Wow, yeah. It's not often you get to draft Mythics twice in early in a format.
Yeah, super lucky.
Cool. But yeah, Narset's obviously solid. All Planeswalkers generally pretty good. I think you have fun. The fact that you got Ultimate off multiple times is pretty sweet. It's good to be able to experience that for sure.
Yeah,
right, Des, your turn to talk.
Okay, so one of the ones that I was playing, I think it was last night. So I was playing quite a heavy creature, sort of red-green deck with a splash of blue. And a card that I really liked during that was Lead the Stampede. So, Lead the Stampede is 2 and a green. It's a sorcery, and it says, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal any number of creature cards from among them, and put the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of the library in any order. So, for somebody that was running quite a heavy creature deck, because I was playing one of the ultimatums, I found this card great because it fills up my hand. Get some extra creatures for me, and it seems to have worked really well for us.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's an awesome 3 mana card that it's better than Divination or whatever the Divination version is in this format, because it's often when you play it, it's going to be 3 mana draw 3+ cards, whereas Divination's 2 cards. It's a really great card to have.
Yeah, I was shocked on how well it worked, because we were playing it side by side with the Oh, what's the ultimatum that I was looking at? It was the Genius? Genesis ultimatum.
Genesis.
So it says look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest into your hand. So we were playing that, so we were playing quite a creature-heavy deck, and I noticed that even if I couldn't get the ultimatum off, this would help fill my hand early on. So I found this to be a really great card, plus it was also really good, because if you got half a dozen spells, you put them at the bottom, and then know that there's going to be more creatures, so if you play ultimatum a couple turns later, you know you're going to get 4 or 5 creatures, so yeah, I found this to be actually a really good card.
Yeah, for sure. Like it needs to be in the right deck, but when it is, it's great. Cool. All right, let's keep moving on as we do. Any standout drafts this week, guys? Anything that really was fun or took your attention in drafting world?
So I had a really interesting draft the other night. Also happened to be on stream. I just thought I'd pop on, do a quick little, let's do a quick little stream. Probably go like 3-3. Get my normal. Don't do very good. And I'm drafting a kind of a red, green, black deck, kind of just ending up in a Jund pile of like creatures and removal. And right near the end of the draft, I already had an Unbreakable Bond, and I pick up the Cycling 11/11. It's got a Godzilla variant. I don't know. I see it as a Godzilla card. The cycling that gets you put a trample counter on a creature when you cycle it. So I picked up one of those, and then I picked up the mono black Godzilla variant one that puts a death touch counter on a creature when you cycle it. The Void Invader. I don't know the normal name of the card, unfortunately. And then I got another one of the T-Rexes. The 11/11 Godzillas, and then I got a Back for More, which is a 6 mana instant, which I didn't realize was an instant. I thought it was a sorcery when I picked it, so it got better. That lets you bring back a creature and then it fights, and just it got insane. I just ended up turning into like a reanimation Jund pile, and it's 7-2. It was glorious.
I was going to say you should have listened to the podcast last week, because I brought up Back for More. For the first time ever, I actually got something right.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, no, I completely forgot. And I was like, oh yeah, we'll just do it at my turn. Oh my god, I can do it right now.
Even as a sorcery, that card is solid, but as an instant, it is insane.
Yeah, it's so much higher than like it would be as a sorcery. I got past the card. I'm pretty sure, like decently late-ish. I know it's 2-color, but so strong.
For sure.
Like it's like probably maybe super close to Commander playable.
Ooh, look out!
That's a big call.
Yeah.
Have to more research required though, of course.
Yeah. More research required, but potentially Commander playable. Definitely budget Commander playable.
Budget Commander, nice. As for myself, unfortunately, didn't actually get any drafts in this week. I've been a bit under the weather. Luckily, not Corona, not COVID. It's just a bit of a cold, and I got the test results. So, yeah, no drafts, only except for the one we did with Des, which was a lot of fun and nice to hang out with the boys. All right, let's wrap up this week in Magic with the events on Arena. We talked about this last week. The Magic Wizards of the Coast even gives us a couple of events each weekend to try out. Some are free, some cost a couple of gold. First of all, we had F&M at home again, another chance to play some Magic for free. And the format for this one was, again, I don't know how to say it, but it's either artisan or artesian. How do you guys say it?
I think it's artisan.
That's how I would say it. It's like the cheese.
All right, let's go with artisan to stop any confusion.
Like the cheese.
Like the cheese. Now, for those of you who don't know...
I was going to say, because I've been a chef and a waiter for many, many years, and the one thing is it was like, ooh, the artisan cheese. Nah, mate, it's the artisan cheese. That's how I remember it.
So for those of you who don't know, artisan is kind of like Pauper is commons only. Artisan is commons and uncommons. So basically no rares, no mythics, and it's a chance to kind of play around with the format without being overpowered by those super awesome rares. Obviously, I had my issues, talked about them before, with the cycling deck. Cycling deck was probably the best one because, again, you got Flourishing Fox, you got Zenith Flare, whole bunch of things that just cycle and do damage. And I saw that a lot. Did you guys get a chance to play on Artisan on the weekend?
Not at all. It seems like the cycling deck would be pretty strong, though, but I didn't have a chance to play it, unfortunately.
Yeah. I tried to get queued. I put together... There was a combo I found, and everyone else probably found it, but where you've got what is it? The third lid, which is 0/0 with 2 counters. You remove a counter to bring a land into play, and then you play there's a Dryad from one of the earlier sets, Boiler Spark, with Proliferate. Whenever you play a land, you proliferate, so it just brings the counter straight back. I'm sure there's a combo there. Again, I was under the weather. My deck building skills were not with it, so I couldn't get quite anywhere with it. But I'm sure there is a deck maybe with Ivy Elementals and cool stuff that can benefit from extra counters. But yeah, the format was fun. The fact that it was free was awesome. I managed to get 2 wins in around awkward draws. But yeah, and I had fun with it. I'm still happy they did it, even though there was that one broken deck was annoying. The other thing that came up over the weekend, again, talked about before, was Ikoria Block Constructed, where you can only use cards from Ikoria. Did you guys get a chance to play?
Nope, but I can guess what the best deck was.
Would you like to take a guess at what their best deck was?
I'm gonna guess it's I don't mutate. No, probably not. No, maybe it was probably cycling.
Yeah, probably cycling. Again, in my experience, lots of cycling decks. I couldn't find a good deck in this that wasn't cycling. Mostly what I did was play a 5-color mutate pile where I just had one card of each of the mutate one copy of each of the mutate cards and a whole bunch of lands. It didn't go well, except for like one time where it did. But other than that, it was pretty disappointing. I was playing around with a humans deck, just like a white-black, all the humans in the set, and it was okay, but didn't hold up to cycling as well. So yeah, again, still glad we had it. Still fun to play. That one wasn't free. You had to pay. I think it was 50 gold to get in, and it was 5 wins or 2 losses, whatever comes first. And
was it
finally,
did you say 50-5-0?
Yeah, 50 gold.
Oh, that's nothing, eh?
Yeah, it's cheap. Like it's signed that it's there. You pay a little cost, but realistically, you don't. Like, yeah. The other thing that came out today was the workshop event. Again, these are free events that I don't know exactly where they come up. They just kind of appear. I'm assuming it's Monday nights US time, because that's what it is at the moment, right? At time of recording, Monday night.
It's like Tuesday morning.
There we go. Tuesday morning. Now this one they've done this before, but it's winning draft decks from the current set. So they've given us a black, blue, green mutate deck, a blue, red spells deck, and a white, red cycling. Now, Food Time, I know you've played a couple of games with these ones. Tell us about it.
The mutate deck seemed fine. The spells deck seemed fine. The cycling deck seemed slightly better than the other two. But I've only played 2 games, and I have not played the cycling deck yet. I've only played against it.
Fair enough. Yeah, same. I've played 2 games as well. Again, it's fun. The thing I like about this event specifically is it's a chance for people to try out draft archetypes and things they might not have been able to get themselves, and give them ideas for drafting in the future. That's what I like about this.
Yeah, I mean, as a beginner, it seems like one of those things that you literally don't really have to pay much, or you can pay
nothing,
a few gold here and there, but it's something that can actually help in the future. So I think those decks are kind of cool. I just wish, like, I seem Fridays, Saturdays, I seem to be a lot busier, and seem to be the one time I can't get on the computer. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind trying them. They actually sound quite fun. Like, I kind of really like the idea of Artisan.
For sure. Hopefully they bring it back again soon. There'll be new events next weekend. We'll keep an eye out to see what comes up as we go. All right. Well, at this point, as I said, we do have a pre-recorded interview with our buddy Capolo in regards to the historic anthology updates. So we're get Food Time talking to Capolo. Then we'll take a break. We'll come back and talk about some more stuff.
So cool. Thank you so much for, taking time out of what seems like a pretty busy schedule for you to sit down and do a quick interview with us. So I guess first off, you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, your streams, maybe a little bit of your Magic history for the listeners, just so they can kind of get to know you.
Sounds good. So my name is Andrea Biaggi. I'm originally from Switzerland. I moved to California around 11 years ago. I usually stream on Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. US Pacific time, but sometimes I stream off of those times, and sometimes I don't stream during those times. It really depends how I feel, but that's my set schedule. I started playing Magic during Ice Age and quickly stopped because my neighbor moved out and it was the only person I was playing Magic with.
Right.
So then I rediscovered Magic around Dragon's Maze and I started getting to being almost obsessed with Magic.
Been there, still am there. I feel like
Then, like, shortly after, I top-8'd a standard PTQ, and I really enjoyed the competitive aspect of the game. So I started being more competitive and going to tournaments, going to Grand Prix. And I got close a few times to the Pro Tour dream, but never got there. I think I have like 5 or 6 PTQ top 8s. I have almost the GP top 8. I got 11th at a Legacy GP. And then I decided to become more casual. Like, most of the results actually came when I decided to stop being competitive and just playing for the fun of it. Don't care about results. Just hang out with friends and see what happens.
Do you think you were maybe doing better because you were having probably more fun with the game since you were taking it a little less, like, seriously?
I think so. It's just also the not having expectations and just enjoying the weekends with friends in a random location in the US or outside the US. Like, just scheduling a trip. I've been to GPs in Costa Rica, Japan, Italy, UK. Just having a nice trip with friends and playing some Magic on the side, and it was fun.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Now, with the state of the world the way it is, we can't really be making those trips out to, PTQs, things like that. And I understand that you've actually had a lot of interest in the historic format on Magic Arena, even running like FNM events in your local area. What is it about historic that interests you so much?
Historic is a kind of unique format. It's arena only. Third cards that are like cherry picked to be put in the format by WotC. It's really interesting, that approach from them. And also, it's not like the grinder format, so it's more like somewhat of a casual, fun format, even though there are ranked queues, and there was going to be more ranked queues with it. And it's a brewer paradise. You can play whatever you want. It's probably good or bad. Just try out your things. And it's fun to try out things and be more relaxed about something and don't face this usual 3 top decks of standard over and over and over.
Yeah, we've all been there in a standard season where it's just the same decks over and over, so that totally makes a lot of sense. Especially with it being such a fresh format, it's probably like a brewer's paradise, right?
Yes, I feel like one's gonna be like the rank queue forever. It's probably gonna be more like a meta game, but for now it's just open and it's awesome.
Right, fantastic. So, Wizards has been controlling kind of how the format looks a little bit by releasing specific cards in the historic anthology sets. Are there any notable cards that have come out in previous releases?
I feel like when they released the powerful 3 white cards in one of the anthologies, I think it was only in one, the Ranger of Eos, Serra Ascendant, and Soul Warden, that got paired also with Heliod and Ajani's Pridemate, that pushed the mono-white deck over the top. Those are really powerful. Also, Burning Tree Emissary has been a big role player in Gruul Aggro and Mono Red. And also a card that I thought it was going to shine, but has not yet, is Packrat. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, I remember playing against Packrat back when it was still in standard around Dragon's Maze time, actually. Man,
Yeah.
that thing, it just got it on turn 2. You're like, well, I guess I just lose.
Yes, there were really few answers to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Packrat. I like the card. It's even in my powered cubes, so I'd love to see it shine in historic. That'd be really rad. And then, can you kind of give us any idea about the recent metagame that has existed with historic, as of recent or maybe even currently? And is there any kind of like best deck, or what do you think the best deck might be?
So the metagame evolved a bit. So before the Anthology 2, I felt like metagame was dominated by Gruul Aggro and Field of the Dead decks, mainly banned. Then before Ikoria and after is Anthology 2, like the mono white, as I mentioned before, with Heliod and Serra Ascendant and Ranger of Eos was like probably the best deck. And I felt like Gruul was still keeping its ground back then. Now with Ikoria and the companions, I have not too much data. We just run one FNM with it because we run sealed events instead for like the first 2 weeks. And in the event that we run, we saw that Gruul was still up there on top. One deck with Obosh as companion, and one without. And there were a few Lurus aggros. There were like some vampires with 1 and 2 drops. There was a Golgari aggro with Lurus. So I feel like right now the metagame is pretty proactive. And I think that's what has been like lately. After the Field of the Dead decks that were like the control decks, now I feel like the metagame since then has been really proactive decks, and Gruul is always a solid option.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you mentioned Lurrus, and Lurrus is, as far as I can tell, been pretty much taking over every format it's touched. So, personally, I mean, it just seems like such a strong card. I wouldn't be surprised to see probably a lot more of that, right?
Yeah, Lurrus has been a great card in some formats. In some formats, it's been too backbreaking. I think in Legacy and Vintage, it's borderline bannable. I actually been enjoying a lot of Modern lately, and Lurrus has not been a big of a problem. Because there are like the decks are more built to answer it than Legacy decks, weirdly enough.
That kind of makes sense, actually, because there's a lot of those kind of lower curve creatures in Modern than you might see in the older formats that are kind of just trying to combo you out or do silly things.
Yes, I agree.
And now with some exciting news, Wizards has actually teased a 3rd historic anthology set coming May 21st. A day before my birthday. Look at that. Almost like I'm getting a whole little set for my birthday. They have already said that it will include Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, and Phyrexian Obliterator. Phyrexian Obliterator. What else are you hoping or expecting to see, and why?
So, what I see as a pattern with the historic anthologies is that they group cards by synergies.
Right.
So, I feel like some of the cards might synergize with Ulamog or Phyrexian Obliterator, and also taking also in account that we are gonna have some other releases that are going to target only historic on Arena, like the Pioneer Masters. They're gonna eventually unlock Pioneer in Arena, the Amonkhet Remaster, and then Jumpstart. Those are only gonna be in historic and not in standard. So I feel like some of the cards might not even be in Pioneer of the new historic anthologies. But I feel like my speculation is Hedron Archive, even though I think it's a Pioneer card. I feel like it's going to be in this anthology. And then Dismember to answer Phyrexian Obliterator. But I am not really convinced.
Yeah, Phyrexian mana seems like it might be a bit much. I don't know.
Also, other cards I could see being in this that I would like to see is Urza from Modern Horizon. I feel like some Modern Horizon card could get into the historic anthologies. And my wild guess is Phantasmal Image.
That's the 2-mana clone? Yes?
Yes.
Fantastic card, yeah, that's a cool one.
And my hope that probably is not going to be seen are Delver of Secrets and Monastery Mentor, like my 2 favorite cards. We'll see, but I really doubt.
I mean, that'd probably push me into playing it, honestly. Those cards are really fun.
Yeah, I'm a big Delver player in Legacy, and I played a lot of Monastery Mentor in all the formats, and I've been having a ton of fun with it.
For sure. So I know we kind of talked about this. We briefly mentioned it. They also did announce that historic ranked queues will be open for good. Right now, it's kind of on a temporary basis. What does this mean for someone like you who plays the format a lot?
I think it's good because it's give you options, so you can play one of the format, and then if you get bored, it's easily to switch to the other one without getting burned out of only one format if you want to rank. So it's a good option to having 2 different formats to rank with, and less like pressure of like grinding a deck, and then if you don't like how it is and you play another deck, don't like it, just you can switch format and start fresh. I feel like this is a good advantage to keep your mental health.
Yeah, I'm very ADHD myself, so just playing the same format, playing the second decks over and over and over again, I would probably lose my mind if I was trying to rank. Luckily, I'm smart enough to not do that to myself, because I would probably just lose my life, like just going into it way too hard. But it is nice to have those options for the people that are trying to rank, just so that they're not, like you said, just kind of jamming on the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, right now, if I get burned out, I switch to draft, but it's not like the same ranked. So I'm leveling both like a mediocre speed where I could like rank 1 really fast.
Yeah, and drafts aren't necessarily free. You either have to spend gold or gems on those anyways, and with the ranked queues, you can just jump into those, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so... is there anything else you would like to mention about Historic? Is there any other reasons you think people should play the format? Anything like that?
I think it's gonna be awesome, especially going forward. As the announcement, they're going to do Historic Anthology and then Pioneer Masters. They are going to add Amonkhet cards and also the Jumpstart set that is going to be only for Historic on Arena. It's going to be a lot of fun and just play and have fun. And if you don't know what to play, just build a Gruul aggro list. It's probably the most straightforward to play. It's really hard to answer because you have Embercleave, you have a lot of pressure. So if you want to get into the format, play Gruul aggro.
For sure, and that's your word of advice. If you'd like to jump into Historic, jump on that Gruul aggro train. And then I guess one more question would be, has there been any support from WotC for like Historic tournaments or any kind of tournament support in that matter? I know we're just now getting the ranked queues, but do you see that something that they might do anytime soon?
I am not sure about that. I've seen some like third-party Historic tournament organizers. We organize FNM. I've seen other organizers organizing Historic tournaments, but nothing from WotC. And I don't know if they want to keep it as a casual ranked format, because it's not gonna... I feel like it's never gonna be a paper format, as they said.
Probably not.
So I feel like probably for this reason they will not be pushing it as a big event format, but it's just gonna be like just the queues and maybe some of those metagame challenges that they do every now and then on Arena.
For sure. Maybe in a couple years, once it's a little more established, maybe has a bigger card pool, we might maybe see tournaments in the vein of things like Modern or Pioneer. I would hope to see that. I like to see, high level Magic for any kind of Magic, and be it Legacy, be it Modern, be it Standard. I just like to see tournament Magic. I like to watch people play the best cards in the best ways. You can learn a lot, so I would like to see that. Hopefully that is something they do in the future. Anything else you'd like to say?
It would be interesting if they maybe added to the Mythic Championships or the Mythic Invitationals, since like a smaller field and a lot of people can prepare in groups, have like two formats, Standard and Historic, instead of having like the double Standard. Or it could be interesting.
Yeah, I would like to see that a lot. Like I said, just seeing more cards be played even at tournament level would be really sweet. Especially because Historic's such a new format, we might see new cards that haven't been played in tournaments before just start to shine, which would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. So thanks so much for your time today. I think that's pretty much all there is to say on that for right now. Is there anything else, like I said, you'd like to mention? I think we went over that. Is there anything you want to tell the listeners, where to find your content, where to find your streams, where to find you on YouTube, all that good stuff, your links?
Okay, so first I want to plug in the Modern Streamers League. It's going to be on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, every night from 5 p.m. Pacific time, or like 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's gonna be a modern triple elimination tournament, and it's gonna start this week and it's gonna end at the end of May. It's gonna be interesting. A lot of great modern streamers are in the tournament, and I'm lucky to, I have no idea why, be selected for that, but it's like my second Modern Streamers League, and it's gonna be a ton of fun.
Super cool. And they can catch that on your Twitch, right?
No, that's gonna be on the Modern Streamers League Twitch.
Gotcha. It's twitch.tv/Modern Streamers League.
Yes.
Fantastic. So everyone should definitely go check that out there. And then for your personal content?
My Twitter is at Capolo, Kappolo, and my Twitch is Capolo42, and like the same Kappolo, number 4 and number 2. And it's usually on Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific time.
Cool. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much again for your time. I know you're a little busy. You've got a lot going on. So just, again, thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chat with us.
Thanks for inviting me. Really appreciate that.
For sure. Maybe we'll have you back in a couple weeks after we've had some ranked queues and we can discuss the format a little more.
That would be awesome.
All right. If you're looking for Magic the Gathering Commander gameplay, check out twitch.tv/foodtime. We're going to be doing streams as much as possible this month. It is my birthday month. So my birthday is going to be in a couple weeks. We're going to be doing a bunch of streams, a lot of Commander gameplay there. We have a Discord. If you'd like to join us there, check me out on Twitter, twitter.com/ or at foodtimegaming, however they do Twitter plugs nowadays. Go ahead and check us out there. You can find a link to my Discord where you can hang out, play some paper games of Magic. We're having good times, fun vibes, chilling out, all kinds of power levels. I mean, not really CDH, but if you want to bring it off, show it off. I'm more than happy to oblige. So, come hang out. We'll play some games. We'll get through this quarantine together and have some fun.
And we're back now to carry on with the episode. Des, obviously becoming our Pauper guy, had a big chat about Pauper last week. Found some decks, and I thought we'd spend some time having a chat about this deck that he wants to show off, and hopefully we'll be able to play soon. Des, you're up.
Well, I'd like to say that I came up with this deck all by myself, but I kind of didn't. If you remember on episode 3, I had an interview with Jordan from Orcs Head Magic, a man that I call the Prince of Pauper, just because he's literally my go-to for Pauper. He is so knowledgeable and really nice guy, and actually always willing to take the time to talk to me. Well, this time he's actually gone out of his way to actually make a deck for me. So this is something that I'm actually super excited about playing, and I'm hoping to get on Magic Online this week so I can have a bit of a play with it. So this is called the Gruul Land Destruction. So as you can probably pick by the name, it is a land destruction deck. And I got to admit, when he first sent this through, I was kind of like, oh, there's heaps of land destruction. But I did get a bit nervous because, I mean, as most people know, I kind of like to play green and I like to play lots of creatures. And this only has 3 creatures in it. So there is 4 of each. So there's a Tinder Wall, which pretty much allows you to add mana to your mana pool. The Elvish Visionary, that when it enters the battlefield, draws a card. And probably one of your win conditions, and one of the big guys, is Hungry Spriggan, which is whenever it attacks, you get +3/+3 until the end of the turn, and it has trample. So this is one of the ones that you're going to run through and hopefully get through and get a few points, because it's going to become a 4/4. So the other ones, obviously, we have a lot of spells. We have 27 spells, which is a lot more than I normally play, because normally I play about 2 or 3. So we do have Molten Rain, Pillage, Stone Rain, Drain the Well, Icefall, and Poison the Well. And these are all part of the land destruction. They all kind of kill a land, and then there's a few bonuses, like, for example, Drain the Well. When I destroy a land, I gain 2 life. And also for Poison the Wall, if I destroy a land, Poison the Wall deals 2 damage to that land's controller. So most of them are just kill a land, and a couple of them have bonuses. And the other spell that we're running, which is also something that could be your win condition, is Lightning Bolt. So Lightning Bolt's an old favourite. I've seen it played in Modern. I've seen it playing all over the place, but Lightning Bolt pretty much deals 3 damage to target player for 1 red. And when you have things like Tinder Wall and and my land, for example, like Sandstone Needle, that pretty much gives us a whole heap of red mana. This is one of those ones where you get in with Hungry Brigand a few times, drop a couple of red onto the Lightning Bolt, and before you know it, you can do 9 to 12 damage. So this actually looks super fun, and I'm so excited to play it. A little bit nervous because I know that land destruction isn't always a friend getter, but I'm hopefully playing on probably playing on Magic the Gathering Online, so hopefully they don't hate me too much, and maybe I'll just keep changing my username every so often. But yeah, so I'm actually really excited. It's funny when you have friends that are into Pauper and can help you with decks like this and really do it. So massive shout out to Jordan at Orcs Head Magic. I'm so excited to give this a go, and hopefully next week or the week after I would have played 10 or 12 games, and I'll let you know how I went.
I think it's a sweet deck. Like you're just gonna like roll over people if they can't cast their spells, right? I guess that's the plan. But no, it's really cool. Kind of mean.
Yeah. I think my general thoughts on land destruction decks are valid here, in that it's probably fun to play, but it's probably horrible to play against. Opponents, you're going to be destroying people's lands. They're not going to be having a fun time. And then you're just going to be smacking them for 4 damage, and you might not make friends if you play this at your local game shop.
Well,
That's why we play it on Magic Online.
And this is
anonymity.
And this is how I feel every time I play against blue decks and I can never cast anything.
For sure.
Right? Would you rather have all of your spells countered or have all of your lands destroyed?
No.
Either or.
Neither.
Well, because I'm not smart enough to play a green deck. Play a blue deck, because I tend to find I don't play the cards right, or I get overly excited and play them wrong. Where with this, I think it's pretty easy. It's like, I like your land, I blow up your land. Next.
This is very gruel. Yeah, no, I think it's an interesting discussion there, right? Between like, would you rather have all your spells countered or all your lands destroyed? Because I mean, having all my spells countered is bad. But at least I have my lands. At least I can cast.
At least
spells.
You can cast the
I can't
spells.
Even
That's
cast
what I'm
my
thinking.
Spells. Like, I just get to draw a card and pass and just be sad. I can't even be like, does it resolve? There's no little game there. That's awesome.
I don't know. I've played against
people.
I've just played against several blue decks, like especially when I've gone to stores and stuff, and like I'm just like I feel like I don't get to play anything, and because I'm not smart enough to play a blue deck well, I feel like this is kind of like my blue deck revenge. And if you get mad,
your blue deck.
Yeah, this is my blue deck. But if you get mad at Jordan because he made it for me. But I got to admit though, going through it and having a real look at it, especially over the last couple of days, I kind of like it. Like, granted, a couple of these spells might be a little bit more expensive to destroy lands, but by turn 3, it should be fairly solid. So, which means if they miss a land hand or if they miss one thing, they're going to fall behind very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's probably going to happen because card draw is so bad at Pauper, like because you're only at commons.
Yeah,
and I know you hate me numbers, but I like it.
I don't hate. We're all about love here, buddy. It'd be interesting to see how it plays out. Like, I'm excited to see you play some games, maybe stream them over on your channel, and give us a report on how the game works out, how the deck works out, when you can get some wins with it. Obviously, Jordan, as we said, Jordan plays a lot of Pauper. He knows the meta game. He knows what to plan for, so I'm sure he's taken that into account. Obviously, just a big shout out, obviously, Jordan over at Orcs Head Magic, YouTube, Facebook, not so much on Twitch anymore, and of course on Twitter, and show him some love for some fun and exciting decks as well.
Yeah, it was funny though, because I was literally only talking to him about this last week. And then he just went, oh, here's one deck and here's another deck that I'm halfway through, and it's for land destruction. I made it especially for you. So I kind of feel really special, and it's kind of making me like Pauper more, because I'm like, oh, I'm making friends. And then I'm getting rid of all of them with this deck. But hey.
For sure. All right, let's check in a couple of weeks. Let us know how it goes. All right, let's move on. The last thing I kind of want to cover before we do Des's question and wrap up, I've got a little game. I've been scouring the YouTubes, checking out a few different YouTubers' Ikoria drafts, and we're going to do a bit of a pick one challenge. So I'm going to run through, tell you who it was, of course, tell the cards that were available, at least the interesting cards. We're going to have a chat about what we would take. We'll see what they took and see if it matches up. Sound like fun?
Oh God. I'm going to lose this
Sounds
game.
Awesome.
Of course, play along at home. For those of you listening, let us know how many you get right. There's going to be 5 to go on. I'll start with an easy one. This is probably one of the easiest ones we've got. Now, this was our friend LSV, famous YouTuber, streamer, content creator, Hall of Fame member from Channel Fireball. Relevant commons, ones that we talked about because we drafted together. Relevant commons: Adventurous Impulse. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Reveal a creature or land card from among them. Put it into your hand. The rest on the bottom of the library. It's a fine card. Probably don't want to take it first though. Rumbling Rock Slides. A 4-mana removal. 3 to red. 2 deal damage to target creature equal to the number of lands you control. Again, solid removal. Not taking it first. Blitzleech. It's a 6 mana, so 5 and a black for a flash 5/2 creature. Enters the battlefield, target creature and opponent controls gets -2/-2 for end of turn, and remove all counters from that creature. There's also, and then to wrap out the relevant commons, there's a Thieving Otter, which is a 2 and a blue for a 2/2 that when it deals damage to an opponent, draw a card. So that is Adventurous Impulse, Rumbling Rock Slide, Blitzleech, Thieving Otter. Uncommons, we've got Ivy Elemental. Ivy Elemental is X and a green for a 0/0 that comes into play with X +1/+1 counters on it. We've got the Zagoth Mamba, probably pronouncing it wrong. It is a single black for a 1/1. Whenever it mutates, target creature and opponent controls gets -2/-2 till end of turn. The last uncommon is Heartless Act. It's a removal spell, 1 and a black. Choose one, destroy target creature with no counters on it, or remove 3 counters from target creature. And finally, our rare, now take a bit to think about this one, is Obosh, the Prey Piercer. He's a companion that costs 5 mana, 3 black, red, black, red. You can only play, if you choose to use him as your companion, you can only play cards that have odd mana costs, so 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, etc. He's a 3/5 himself, and if a source that you control that has odd mana cost will deal damage, it deals twice that damage instead. What are you guys taking?
The Piercer.
The Heartless Act.
No, I got it wrong already.
So I guess we probably should have given the listeners at home a chance to guess, but they probably already have their picks made up as soon as you said it. Or pause. So my reasoning is like Obosh is good. I don't think it's worth ruining your entire deck to play him.
Okay. Interesting.
At least as a companion. He's good to play, but I think Heartless Act, it literally just, it deals with so much, and it's just a 2-mana kill spell most of the time, that I think it's probably worth taking over it.
That's a fair call. I was pretty interested in taking the Obosh as a rare, because I'm still early in the format for me. Like I've done 8 drafts now, and I'm still kind of like, if there's a rare I get a chance to play it, I'm going to play it. I would take the Obosh, whether I play him as a commander or not. As a companion or not. That depends on how my draft wraps out. Like I'd probably try to, at least for my first time playing him, and then go from there. LSV took Obosh and did force it as his companion. It is worth noting he went black-green into a graveyard kind of deck, and he also had Vivian, so the deck was pretty solid. So,
yeah. How did he do?
It did actually have his result at the end. He didn't go undefeated, I know that, but the video didn't show all his games.
Gotcha. So. Yeah. The one thing I will say, I've never lost to an Obosh companion in draft. Like I've never lost to one because you see it coming. Turn 5, they drop it, you kill it, and you laugh at them, and then you know that they can only drop odd cost spells.
Yeah, that is relevant as well.
So does he have to be in play for your people to get double attack, or just by? Oh, okay. No. See, I think because I'm a noob too, though. When it comes to drafting, I tend to just go, "Oh, rare. Oh, it's not completely bad. I'm just gonna grab the rare."
Yeah. So Des is taking the rare. Futo's taking the removal spell. All right, let's look at Gabby Spartz's pick. Now, this was done during the early access event. I'll add that on there. It was, the first chance any of us had to draft the set, and it was in BO1. Relevant commons. Farfinder. 3-drop colorless card. It's a 1/1 with vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land, put it into your hand, shuffle your library. There is also a Lurking Deadeye, which is a 3 and a black for a 4/2 human assassin with flash, and when he enters the battlefield, destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. The only other relevant common was Blade Banish, just 3 and a white to exile target creature with power 4 or greater at instant speed. Our rare, we'll jump ahead, our rare was Colossification, which is a 7 mana enchantment that when it enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature, and the enchanted creature
I'm taking that.
Plus 20.
I know that they didn't take that, but I'm taking that because one day I want to get that off. Just one.
Our uncommons were Sanctuary Smasher. Sanctuary Smasher is 4 red for a 6/4 Rhino Beast with first strike. And it's got cycling for 2 and a red. When you cycle it, you put a first strike counter on target creature you control. There was the Auspicious Starix, which is 4 and a green for a 6/6 Elk Beast with mutate 5 and a green. When this creature mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile X permanent cards, where X is the number of times this creature has mutated this turn. Put those permanent cards onto the battlefield, the rest on the bottom of your library. And finally, there is a Zenith Flare, which is 2 red-white for an instant that deals X damage to any target, and you gain X life, where X is the number of cards with cycling ability in your graveyard. Food time, you first. What are you taking?
So we're trying to pick what the pro picked, right?
Let's go both. What would you take, and what do you think she took?
Both cases, the Starks.
Des?
Glorious Elk Boy.
I mean, as much as I want classification, I actually thought she might take the Starix, but I personally think that Zenith Flare is what I would have taken.
So you would have taken the Zenith Flare, but she thinks she took the Starix?
Yeah, I do.
All right, people at home, remember to pause and have a think about it. Let us know what you thought.
Big think.
Gabby took Zenith Flare. She ended up with 2 of them in her deck. She played it in a red-white cycling deck and went 4-3, which is fine. Again, this was like probably one of her second drafts of the format, so it could be right, it could not be. It's hard to say. Both Starix and Zenith Flare, I think, were defensive picks.
Classification. Should have taken classification.
Nobody is taking classification.
Des is.
I'm going to take it one day.
Spell Eater Wolverine, 2 and a red for a 3/2. It has double strike as long as there's 3 or more instants and or sorceries in your graveyard. There's a Deadweight enchantment for black. It gives enchanted creature -2/2. There's a Pacifism, 1 and a white to enchantment, where enchanted creature can't attack or block. That's probably all the commons we want to talk about. Uncommons, we had Primal Empathy, another enchantment for 1 blue-green. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card if you control a creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield. Otherwise, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Reptilian Reflection, 2 and a red for an enchantment. Whenever you cycle a card, you may have the Reflection become a 5/4 dinosaur with trample and haste in addition to its other types until end of turn. Escape Protocol again, the one that flickers creatures, the one in the blue enchantment that flickers whenever you cycle. And our rare for this one is the Quartz Wood Crusher. 2 red-green for a 6/6 with trample. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control with trample deal combat damage to a player, create an XX green dinosaur beast token with trample, where X is the amount of damage those creatures deal to that player. Food time. Thoughts?
I think you take the Quartz Crasher. That card is insane.
Really?
It's a close second to the. I mean, it doesn't matter. You take the Quartz Crasher.
Des?
I was going to say, unfortunately you guys can't see this because this is a podcast, but as soon as numbers got, I reckon, a quarter way through this word, Food Time's head just lit up the entire screen and just got well excited about that one. So I'm going off his bias in that one, but I must say I actually like, that Wolverine one, the common.
Not more than a 6/6 trample for 5. You don't. No.
But I mean, I got to admit though, like if you can take that in late game when you've got a few spells, that card is actually really solid.
I'm
gonna be honest. I forgot what the uncommons were after you said Quartz.
Yeah, Reptilian Reflection and Primal Empathy they're both fine, but not
Primal Empathy is a really, honestly, kind of close second. The card's really good. I've only played against it once, and I've never drafted it. I haven't seen it very often. It's really good. It's pretty strong. Like getting a counter or a card draw every turn is really, really, really good.
For sure.
I kind of want to build that card now.
Yeah, and I got to admit that Reflection one isn't bad as well. I had that played against me a couple of times, where it just kind of like, okay, I'm going to use it as a blocker or swing in and just trade off with something, and then just have the card go back, and then cycle again and bring it back.
It's almost like the cycling deck is really good.
Yeah, it's almost like the cycling deck's pretty good. We should talk about that at some point. Unsurprisingly,
we should start a podcast.
We should start a podcast. Unsurprisingly, Jamie took the Crusher. More surprising, I didn't watch the whole draft. She didn't actually play it though. She ended up in a green-white deck with Kahiru, as the companion, the cat guy.
Kahira, yeah.
Yeah. And I.
Okay,
Sorry.
Sorry, the double red on that, it's a little backbreaking because it's red, green too.
Yep.
So the red can be a little tough. I did have some trouble when I played mine in a draft.
Wasn't this the card I played with the green and the red mentor? And they seem to just be nuts for each other?
Yeah, that was a fun deck that we did that one.
It was nutty, buddy.
Yeah,
that was like one of my best drafting experiences, that.
Don't call it a tie, guys. You both did great.
I think Des edged me out, probably.
Des edged
I
you.
reckon-
Alright, Des is the winner. Congratulations.
I reckon we give it to the crowd.
Give it to the crowd. Yeah,
They probably did better than us.
Listeners, you are the winners. Congratulations. All right, so I think we've covered everything we want to talk about tonight, guys. Anything we want to talk about before we finish up with Des's question?
Nope.
I'm gonna take it as a no. All right, so let's look at the Des's dumb question last week. Des, you asked us if we could ban any card in any format, what would it be and why? Now I'm gonna just step up and say I cheated. I regret my actions. I did not pick a single card. I picked all of the cards with a single name. And I will not claim any victories from this one. But for Des, you said Blood Moon in Modern. You hate Blood Moon in Modern. Futime, you said Agent of Treachery in Standard. And I said all Teferis in all formats. Like I said, I'm a big nasty cheat. The only other reply we really got was we had someone going on my way. They said fetch lands in every format because they're tired of the conversation, which is a fair rate, I think. Unsurprisingly, Cheaty McCheatface over here, I did win 43% of the vote. You guys literally tied at 21% each.
Probably just us.
No, it's I don't know. It was
Did we actually get votes? People agree with us?
We
got
get votes.
14
You got a
votes.
few people agree. Yeah, 14 votes, so 20% of 14 votes,
wow.
whatever that is. But yeah,
Not zero.
the
Thanks,
zero.
guys.
Yeah, I'll give you guys. You both get the win here. I'm not taking it because I cheated. But Des, it's time to blow us away with another amazing question. Go.
Oh god, I've got to start to get good ones, man. These are bad.
That's the point.
But yeah, okay. So you're allowed to reprint any one card in a standard set. What is it? Okay, for anybody listening at home, you don't get to see the video footage, but watching both of their minds just kind of explode because they have so much choice is the funniest thing in the world.
Hey, you, guy with ADHD, speaking to me. You have to choose one of, 60,000 cards. Go.
This is what I like about this question, because I know that you guys know so many different cards, and I just think it's fucking hilarious, because I know that Food Time's mind is about to explode.
We can't say the fetch lands, because that's too easy.
You gotta
It's
have
also 5
just
to 10 cards.
one single card.
One single card. One single fetch land. That's all we get. Scalding Tarn. No, I'm kidding.
I got my answer this time, and I think I'm just going to take the easy route here. And my literal favourite card ever is Hell Rider. Hell Rider's a 4 mana, so 2 and a red for a 3/3, and whenever a creature you control attacks, it deals 1 damage to the creature or the opponent you're attacking. It's just a solid design. I'm a red aggro player at heart. It's literally you build up your board, turns 1, 2, and 3. You play this sort of 4. You attack. Your opponent's going to take at least 3 or 4 damage. It also has haste, by the way. Your opponent's going to at least take 3 or 4 damage, and then as the game goes on, it's just so good. It snowballs all your damage up. I would happily have Hell Rider printed in every single set.
So I'm gonna say Unburial Rites, which, if you don't know, is a card from the original Innistrad set. It's 4 and a black, basically just reanimate, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, but it flashbacks for 3 and a white. I really like that card, and anytime I get to play it, I am happy as a clam. Plus, I think it'd be kind of cool right now with the kind of Ikoria's got like a little mini graveyard theme going. So
yeah, for sure.
And I'm just gonna go. I'm going for conspiracy. I want Black Lotus because it's pretty, and I want to see new art, like new, proper, beautiful art. Just because I reckon people are going to lose their mind because I'm going controversial again.
Because of the reserve list.
We
we
do not
don't
say
care
those
anymore.
words in this podcast. We're not ready for that kind
The
of controversy.
the RL word.
words. Yeah, we're not ready for that controversy yet.
We don't talk about real life. We only talk about Magic the Gathering.
You watch, my answer's just going to get cut, and you're just going to have Food Time or Numbers doing their best voice of me going, just put in Soul Ring.
No, we'll put it. We'll put
No,
it in there.
that might be worse.
Yeah, it'd still be a controversy. All right, folks. Well, yes, find us on Twitter. So the polls all go out under my Twitter at @numbers_MTG. Vote in. You can answer one of our questions or add your own to join the conversation. Hopefully you've enjoyed listening to us talk our nonsense today. Again, I am MP Numbers. You can find me on Twitch, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Reddit, wherever you want to find me. Just search the name MP Numbers. I'll come up. There's no one else with the name. Of course, we have Des. Des, where do we find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at DerekMags81, or you can head over to my website, which is desdoes.com. Des with a Z.
And Food Time.
You can find me at Twitter, Foodtime Gaming, YouTube, it's youtube.com/foodtime. You just have to type it in twice. Just don't ask me why. And lastly, twitch.tv/foodtime. I've been streaming a lot lately, especially this month, the month of May. This is my birth month, so want to get a bunch of Commander games in since I can't really leave the house. So come hang out.
I'll be down to play some Commander with you.
Yes!
Because now I'm streaming. Well, when I say streaming, I've literally just decided that I wanted to do 2 streams. What is it? Twitch.tv/Desnado, which is why I like Sharknado so much. It's horrible.
Follow us.
Sure. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I just wanted to take a second at the end of the show. Anyone who's still listening at this point, thank you for watching us. We're just about to hit 100 downloads on the podcast in 5 episodes. I know it's not massive soaring numbers, but it's more than I expected. I'm having a lot of fun chatting with these guys, and hopefully someone's listening and having fun with us. I'm at the point where if you have questions for us, I want to start getting something. Maybe like episode 10, we could start doing some fan questions, some listener questions. So if you have hit any of us up on our socials, we'll put them in the bag and we'll come back to them when we have enough. But yeah, I think we're out. Thanks for chatting with me, guys. Bye.
Cheers.
Later, guys.
Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Like a round stone cowboy. Doo doo.